Fracking is now banned in the UK. Ish. The incumbent government, the Tories, have said that it's indefinitely suspended until science comes along to prove that it's right. And the bit that caught my attention is not the poisoning of the water table, the environmental damage. It's the fact that apparently fracking causes more earthquakes than are acceptable under the acceptable earthquake guidelines. How fucking awesome is that? In the UK, we have acceptable UK guidelines. You're allowed to create just so many earthquakes. Just so strong. But if you go over that, no. Now, fracking has never earned a penny in this country. Not one single penny. Every time they turn that fucking thing on, Blackpool's had an earthquake. Yes, sir, with a hand at the back.
See, when I first heard about fracking many, many years ago, it was like when people describe gold in the hills of America and them going around that way, and the amount of revenue, the amount of wealth possible for local councils. So there were people, actually local MPs, local councillors saying, we have this here, it will be well for the region. Now over time that's got lost, and I figure somebody's going to make some money from it at some point, but you mentioned there's no money in it, there's no money coming from anywhere. Before we heard of the kind of the cynical extreme examples of Americans showing like earthquakes coming out of the taps and things like that and saying this could happen here, the idea was quite rose-coloured. It was quite, this is a possibility for money in a region, and in regions where there wasn't much money. So there was I'm not saying a fully rounded story, but there was a gilded story of fracking being good for northern economies. We call it bullshit.
Yeah. I agree. But does anyone else remember that, I think it was 20 years ago when they discussed, was it the Alaskan reserves, where they got massive shale gas reserves? And they said, there's no point, it's too expensive. We can't get it. We've got all this, but it's too expensive. Are you trying to tell me the technology's changed that much since then? No. Somebody has made a lot of money off this. But nobody that we thought would make all the money off it. They've sold us a dud. Yes, sir.
I've spent 13 years in the offshore industry.
Just a second, dude. Could you grab the mic, please?
Oh,
there you go.
Is everyone on YouTube's freaking out because they can't hear you? There you go.
Fuck you, can you hear me? Right. I've spent 13 years in the offshore industry. I have been to every oil and gas installation in the United Kingdom. We are drowning in gas and oil. And that's without our coal reserves. Literally. So why the hell are we fracking and, as you said, destroying the water table? The gas reserves off the Wash, off Norfolk, are immense. All up past Hull, all up everywhere. We are drowning in energy. So why the fuck are we fracking?
Because we want earthquakes in Preston.
And to destroy the water table.
Because fuck Preston. That's why. Yes.
Nothing to do with Preston. Fuck the whole country.
But let's start with Preston.
I don't mean to put, the gentleman from America, is it Reed, did you say your name was? Or? That's right. Yeah, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I am interested now, as you obviously live in the United States, what's been the reaction? Because America fracks a lot, doesn't it? So
there have been efforts to get Florida. Jesus, Mary and Joseph.
Bob's lots of that fracking going on in the United States. In the northern central areas, it's a huge boom, has been for years. There are efforts to open Florida up, and there is an enormous environmentalist backlash against that, and rightfully so, I think. And then, the classic areas in Texas, a lot of fracking going on, and there are these earthquake issues, lots of tremors, things are happening, but too soon for me to figure out what the hell is going on. I mean, somebody knows what's going on. It's not me.
Earthquake enthusiasts. That's what it is. They know what's going on. Anybody. I mean, I used to teach a kid guitar, and years later he works in the oil industry. So I had a chat with him a couple of years ago. So he looked me up and we caught up. And he was saying fracking's safe. It's okay. It's good. But I'm not an engineer. I'm not. But I have this sneaking suspicion that if you've got a technology that pumps poisonous shite into the ground at high pressure, and it causes earthquakes, and the environmental damage above ground is so fucking tremendous, it's probably not great. I might just be cynical. I don't know. I like turning a tap on and having water come out. I'm old-fashioned like that. I don't like...
You like turning your boiler on and having heating as well, though. So are any of the...
There's 2 mics out there now, people.
You like turning your boiler on before you have your heating coming on as well. So are any of the consequences, the after effects, demonstrably worse than any of the other energy?
Did you not listen to the chap at the front there that works in the industry?
He says we're swimming in it, we're dripping with
Got
it.
loads
That
of it.
There's an analysis of what's good and what's bad and how the consequences are. We're told all the time that there are positives and negatives to coal, to gas, to nuclear. But in terms of what is sustainable, what actually gives us demonstrable energy that we consume, is fracking any worse than any of the other means that we currently rely on?
Yeah, because there's a
irrespective
no, it is.
of excess.
Categorically,
or
it is.
storage.
Even I can answer that one.
Even you.
Yes, it is worse. Do you know why? Do you know why? Our current technologies, accidents happen. But as a matter of course, Sellafield or the coal power plant do not cause as much damage to the location they're in and the locality, thereby poisoning the native population and causing fucking earthquakes.
So you're saying that poisoning the native? I've only heard, and again, maybe I could just be poorly read on the subject, that I'm poorly read on many subjects. I've not seen much on fracking other than a couple of extreme examples of things cited and a couple of localized elements in America. Is it that certain and that demonstrable that it's that bad?
Why do you think they banned it here?
Point scoring politically, it scored well.
Earthquakes. Earthquakes, dude. Structural damage will occur. People's homes, people's lives.
So that
industry,
connection's been
trade.
made and measured and presented.
Of course it
then,
has. That's
right.
why they say fracking causes earthquakes. That's scientific fact.
Okay, I wasn't sure if that was
They
just
had-
the usual
they had-
polemic from the demonstrators,
they had a
or if
level.
there was some science there.
Here's the thing. They had a level of acceptable earthquake activity caused by fracking. Acceptable. And they've breached that. Every time they've turned it on, it's caused earthquakes worse than apparently whoever the fuck comes up with an acceptable earthquake level, I'm not entirely sure. Every time it breaches it.
Okay.
So, and also, who in the fuck trusts the power companies anyway? You know, fracking, it doesn't seem to produce the volumes that would be required. It doesn't seem to produce the profits to be required. It's a filthy technology.
But I just want to take you up on that because, I mean, from what I've read, Lancashire alone would produce around about 75 years' worth of gas.
Except it can't because of all the fucking earthquakes.
Yeah, but I'm talking about when you say it doesn't produce much.
No, it doesn't. No,
75 years.
no, I'm not saying the gas isn't there.
Yeah.
It can't produce it because to extract it, you have earthquakes and poisoning of the water table. So it doesn't matter if there's enough there for 1,000 years. If we can't get it out cleanly, without shaking people's fucking houses, it doesn't exist.
Just a bit of naivety on my part, because when you say poison, I thought it was just high pressure water. Is that not the case?
Oh, it's full of all kinds of gear, isn't
No,
it?
it's radioactive water, isn't it?
Oh, is it?
Yeah, yeah.
Full of radium, barium.
I didn't know that, that's why.
Yeah, it's full of, well, I wouldn't say it otherwise. It'd be strange.
It goes down into the aquifers, what have you know.
It takes such a volume of water that they're now taking water away from us and making us pay more for water because it needs so much water for fracking.
Yeah, but your gas
So they
bill will
put
be
in the
cheaper.
bill. No. I've been off the coast of Norfolk. We have 50 rigs there, and they all have female names, and they're all drawing gas, and they're only in 10 metres of water. It's not difficult to get at. I've been to every installation around Britain. We're drowning in fuel.
Well, here's the good news anyway. The Tories have banned it temporarily until the science can be proven that it's safe.
Can everyone please just use the microphones, please? You're causing me a right stress over here. Just use your mic.
Can you not see his veins?
Because I'm
They're excited, they want to talk.
I know, Aidan, but I can't.
We need to get that boom pole out.
I know, yeah. Question time. Question to get out.
By the way, can I just say thank you very much to Jason Cage, who just dropped us a super chat. That was
Yes.
very good of you, sir. He says, because I have to read it out if it's legal, he says, good evening from Bristol. Have a good night and make sure that Baldy Gammon don't miss his show tomorrow. That'll be you. Well, it can't be me. I haven't got a show tomorrow, so it must be him. Let's have a look here now. I can't fucking see the laptop's being a dick.
In terms of the amount of Baldy Gammons in the room, there's quite a series of elimination there, isn't it? It's like, it took me a while. Well, I've shown you. I don't mind. You can have a look.
Why don't you talk like a Scouser?
Because I'm not a Scouser.
Why do you sport